Hey guys, it's Phoenix Automotive here again, and this video we're going to be looking at the Dodge Ram unit for 2013 all the way to 2018. It works with a couple 2019 ones. You just got to make sure your 2019 Dodge Ram is the classic style that looks like the 13 to 18. And again, specifically, this is the manual AC units. And again, this is for the manual AC. So this is a 7-speed unit. Some vehicles have 4 notches and they're the same one. And we give you this little cover right here to put here, and then you're gonna port them right here. That's why now the AC control should be good. We used to have issues with the temperature showing weird, and toggling heater controls was not working very well. If your Dodge Ram vehicle has a tow brake switch, which is kind of over here, what you're gonna do is remove that and port that over to here. There's also a cover for the power outlet portion. If you don't have that, you'll put this cover here. If you do not have a tow brake switch, it's going to be empty and you're going to put your factory stuff in here. And on the left side, everything is just factory. Put your factory stuff there. On the controls themselves for the manual AC, you're going to have a hazard button here. This hazard button, when you do port them over here with this cover, don't forget the cover. It's not going to fit because there's the hazard button. You're going to take like maybe a flathead screwdriver and just pop the button out. So you can see we still have the button, but we popped off the cover. So again, this is for the 2013 to 2019 manual AC. This is a 7-speed, and the other one would be a 4-speed. We also provide these 2 clips. However, we still recommend using the factory clips. As you can see, these are a little thin, and the factory ones are more sturdy. But this piece right here, we would put right over here. You can see that there's 2 holes here, and let's port them over like so. So it looked like that. And again, you're going to have a bunch of clips on the side here that you're going to port over your factory clips onto. Now that we've gone through what vehicle you have, either from 2013 to 19, 19's got to be the classic, let's look at what you get in the box. A couple things you get is a USB cable. Plug this up to the back of the unit. There's a connection there. One of them is going to be labeled OTG. If there's no label on it, use one or the other for the built-in CarPlay. But if you have a CarPlay dongle, you can use either one. You can also do updates on both USB ports. We provide you an extension piece, and this extension piece you can put on either one and just route it to anywhere you want access to the USB ports. There are instances where these do have trouble. The other extension piece goes into right here, and this goes straight to the vehicle to retain one of the factory USB ports. Up to you which one you want to retain. This USB connection connects to the back of the unit, and that's going to go right here. And with that said, let's look at the other 2 connections while we're at it. You have a blue one and you have a white one. So the white one goes right next to the yellow, and the blue one goes right next to the white. Speaking of these 2 connectors, let's go through them. If you're going to be hooking up an aftermarket sound system, you're going to need both the white and the blue. You can see on the white one, or on the blue one, you have 2 RCA, one red and white called RCA-R, RCA-L, and on the white one, you also have 2 white ones that are labeled RCA-R and RCA-L. So these are your 4-channel speakers. You're going to plug them up to here. And let's stay on the blue one. On the blue one, have these 2 wires, the purple one and orange one. We recommend first the purple one, but both wires should do the same thing. If you connect this wire to an empty wire that has no power to it, it will provide that wire 12 volts. But if your trigger doesn't work for the backup camera, you need to touch this wire to a reverse trigger, and that could be your reverse light, which would be when that reverse light turns on, this will receive power, and then it'll tell the unit to go to the reverse screen. With that said, for the camera connection, there's nothing here that you need for camera connection. It's going to be on the main harness. We'll get to that later. On the blue connector, you have video output 1 and 2. Now, these outputs are not going to be outputs of the screen's video feed. It's actually going to be whatever you put into this aux V RCA. So this white connector has a yellow aux V. If I put like a PlayStation 3 video feed into this RCA, these video outs would mirror whatever is on this RCA. Again, with the RCA RL, RCA-R and RCA-L. These are your 4-channel speakers. And let's move on to the white connector. On the white connector, you have a couple RCA ports. This red and white one, aux-R and aux-L. What you can do is you can input video feed and put input audio feed. So your PlayStation 3, hook up the video in here, hook up the audio in here, and you can go on the unit at the top, scroll left and right to apps. And one of the apps on the left is AUX. So whatever you put in here will have the video and sound coming through this app. On the other two RCA yellows, they're called CVBS out. These are for aftermarket backup cameras if you want to hook up, say, an aftermarket front camera, aftermarket side camera. On the back of the unit, you also get a GPS antenna, and this GPS antenna is a blue connector where you plug in right here. What you do need to check is if you have signal. And to check if you have signal is if you go to the top settings. On the left side, there is GPS monitor. So when you connect this antenna, you're gonna have to press GPS monitor. Make sure you have at least 3 satellites minimum and 1 green bar. If you put this antenna somewhere and you don't get 3 satellites, here we already have 1 satellite, and you need at least 1 green bar. Put the antenna somewhere you can get this green bar. So once you've connected the RCAs, the USB, and also the GPS antenna, the next thing to look for is the main harness. Make sure you have this red box as well. We're only going to be using one side. The other side is not used. And this is the main harness we have right here. A couple things you get with the main harness is this big black connector, a red box, and this white connector right here. Now this white connector goes on the factory AC knob area. You can see it plugs in right here. You're going to connect the factory into here, and this 2-prong connection will go into the main harness, and that main harness is right here, black and green connector, just like so. Now, not going to show you the unit yet, but make sure you have the box connected. Let's look for that connection, which goes right here. Now that we made that connection, there are a couple things that you can see here. We have this big connector will go to the vehicle, and let's show you on the back side of this unit. So on the back side of the unit, there are a couple things we need to put. First is the factory AC board. Make sure you have this cover piece right here to put on. There are screws on the sides here where you can remove the bezel piece, and you can actually paint it how you wish if you want to customize the color of it. On the main harness, you can see we have it plugged in already. This is going towards a test bench. But on this harness, what you would do is plug this up right here. This goes to the vehicle. And looking at these connectors, all I would say here is just plug and play. Wherever it goes, you should fit it in. So this connector right here would go into here. Now, manual AC vehicles will have this connector. Make sure you plug this in. The auto AC vehicles, you get something like this. Stay tuned for the next video on how to connect that one. There should be a link in the description below or one of the recommended videos on the side. You also have, make sure the red box is connected. You have the radio antenna. The radio antenna, this goes straight to a factory piece connection on the car. And you have this antenna piece that goes up here. Again, connect the GPS antenna. And let's see. The AC connector goes here. The next thing to do is the factory backup camera. There are a bunch of RCA connections on this wire harness. One of the gray wires is labeled, there's no label on it. This might be your remote wire, but going forward, you have 2 red and whites, aux-R and aux-L, CD-R and CD-L, and you can connect these to the RCAs right here for the sound. So if you want to retain, say, the CD sound, you're gonna, unfortunately, we don't have a bunch of that. We don't have too many RCAs to retain sound. So if you're not gonna plug in an external video source or audio source, you can use the aux-V and aux-L, and you can connect the CD so that you have sound when you press the AUX app. For the backup camera, you can see we have a male RCA called reversing video in, and you need to connect that to the CCD in port on the back of the unit. So that would go right here. And again, you have male RCA for the aux-R and aux-L. This is going to retain the aux cable, the aux 3.5 jack on your factory car. So if you want to plug in your phone through 3.5 jack. And of course, if you want to retain that, you have to take the white connector and hook it up to aux R and aux L to retain that sound. Again, you have to open the aux app. So unfortunately, you can only retain either the 3.5 jack or the factory CD player sound, or you can hook up an external source like a PS3 or Xbox. With that said, what other connectors? You have one more connection, and this goes to the top right here to retain those factory buttons. Now we provide you these buttons at the top. This is for, again, the manual AC vehicles. So if yours is manual AC, we provide these buttons. If you have an auto AC, it's gonna look a little bit different, but you'll still have this connection at the top. Hopefully that covers the connection portions of this video. Let's move on to the settings. And if you're having trouble with getting backup camera to show, or air conditioning is not working so well, let's show you the front of the unit. Looking at the front of the unit, again, this is for the manual AC Dodge Ram, 7-speed or 4-speed. You need to check the car type before you troubleshoot or give us a call. Check the car setting, the car type. Go on settings at the top. You see I just press it again, made it small screen. Check if your RPM is showing. This vehicle you can still change. We have a video on how to change this picture. If we press this little square at the bottom left, it makes it big screen. We can go to install set 666888, and let's set the car type to Dodge Ram High. So we're gonna go to Dodge Ram High, press that. Press Dodge here on the left, Dodge Ram High. And we're gonna choose the car info to be 13 to 18. Protocol, this is for air conditioning, make sure it's at simple. Boot logo is what the logo setting should be. Check mark the box on the right side, press OK. Now that the setting has been set, we need to press the back button on the bottom left corner and press save and reboot. Now if you go in reverse and the camera still doesn't show, check if your reversing video format is on CVBS. Sometimes it might be on VGA, gotta make sure it's on CVBS, press save and reboot. Once it reboots, if it's still not showing, we recommend pressing the RST button with a paper clip or maybe like a loose wire like so. We can press it, but make sure it reboots first to the home screen, then press the RST button for it to take in effect. If you say you hooked up everything and you're still having issues maybe with sound, maybe like the right speaker is only blaring or only the back speakers are blaring, check if the settings on the factory amp is good. So on the top you can scroll left and right. We're gonna scroll to console, the guy's sitting down. And then here you can see this image right here. Let's press the back. Let's press console again. There's gonna be a gear icon. Press that gear icon. And you can see we have a bunch of settings for like headlights on and off, or auto headlights when it's dark outside, it'll turn on the headlights. If we scroll to the way bottom, there's an option for amplifier information. Right here, original amplifier settings. If the volume's at say 9 and you're still getting no sound, you might want to turn up the volume to a higher number than 0. You can see it pulls that up. But if it's only blaring on the right side, blaring on the passenger side or driver side, or only on the rear, try to balance the sound, balance left and right, balance front and rear, and toggle these till you get a good balance. I have had some people can also try here in the equalizer. Another thing to note is with the air conditioning, on the manual AC vehicles with the 7-speed or 4-speed, you control the AC through these knobs. It will display on this right here. However, you're not able to control it by pressing these. You would have to control it using the knobs. So some of you know that there's also extra buttons right below the AC controls. Those buttons, some of those are ported to the top right here. However, if these buttons are not ported to the top right here, you can go into the console. If we press console again, we're already here, but let's show you what that is. If I go to console, here this thing will pop up. This is the factory CD player. If you don't have one, it'll still show up, but we can press the gear icon. And inside here, you can control buttons that we do not have physical buttons for, something like suspension control. We just got to find that. Inside here would have it. Right here, so you can see we have suspension control and we can toggle this. There's no vehicle connected to this unit right now, so it won't really show. But check around these area for something like tow haul, you can have changing as well.